You're listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with Lyndia Grant.
Well, good evening, Radio 1 listeners. Thank you for tuning in to this Veterans Day show of The Lyndia Grant Show. It is Friday, November 7th, but we record on Tuesday, which was November the 4th, Election Day in the United States and around 4 states and maybe a few others. But Dr. Frank Smith is going to be our second guest, and he's going to be telling you what he's got going on for Veterans Day on Monday and Tuesday of next week. But now we're going to go to Dr. Julian Malvo to talk about politics and the economy and what we just witnessed in our election. Dr. Julian.
Lyndia, thank you very much. And I appreciate Brother Frank Smith coming on to talk about Veterans Day. We always forget about the number of Black veterans we have. In the many ways, they laid the foundation for the Black middle class.
Yes.
Many of these veterans, especially in World War II, were able to get veterans benefits, which allowed them to go to college, to buy homes, and to do a number of other things. It wasn't fair or right. It was not evenly distributed, but it gave us a foothold into middle class. And so we really have to be grateful to them. Mm-hmm. So I look forward to listening to Brother Smith in this conversation. But, you know, we record on Tuesday nights for our Friday program. And this has been one of the most exciting Tuesdays that I've spent in a very long time. I'm in Roland Martin Studios. They rotated me off, so it gave me time to come and talk to you. And I thought we'd be up later. But, you know, Abigail Spansberger, they called the race for her within 17 minutes.
Yes.
17 minutes. She routed that winsome woman, the Republican, who, you know, she couldn't make up her mind whether she liked Trump or she didn't like Trump. She raced toward him. She ran away from him. He never endorsed her. And so not only did Abigail Spanberger win, the lieutenant governor won as well. And the sweetest news was that Jay Jones won. This was a young brother, he was on stage with his little boy, so cute, and his wife. And he got in the hot water for some unseemly texts that he sent out. Now, there's the context of those texts. I mean, it was, you know, trash talk. We all do trash talk. I mean, I'd be under the jail if my trash talk were ever broadcast. He was trash talking. He was wrong. But he was talking about school shootings. He said he wondered how his opponent would feel if it was his kid who was shot. Well, you don't fool with people's kids. Anyway, he lost a lot. He didn't lose a lot of support, but he lost some. But the major Democrats in Virginia abandoned him. Spanberger, many of the other ones abandoned him.
Even though he won, he just didn't have quite the number like the governor did.
No, he didn't. And what was interesting was to watch at the victory party, each one of the winners, the governor, lieutenant governor, and the attorney general came out separately. And I was reminded that the last time a Democrat won, all of them came out together. So this really does speak to an underlying fissure in the Democratic Party in Virginia. Frankly, if I were Jay Jones, I would have come out there and told them to worship at my hind parts, but he can't do that. But they all abandoned him, and he still won. Mm-hmm. So there you have it. The Black vote, actually, Black women pulled Abigail Spanberger over the finish line. We have to know that. She got a minority of votes from white men. She only got half of the votes of white women. It was Black women. Black women. I know many of them who were out there fighting very hard for her. And so she better not forget us. And I will say that. She better not forget us. And I'm counting on them sisters to hold her accountable. Mm-hmm. Now in New Jersey, Mickey Sherrill won. That was not quite the Spanberger was expected to win. Mickey was expected to win, but it was expected to be much closer. She did win. She's a congressperson now. She will be the governor of New Jersey, and we're excited about that. She did not ever really speak directly to Black folks, and I had wished that Ross Baraka had been the candidate for governor instead, but that didn't happen. Well, she won, and so now we have to look and say, what's she going to do? But Black women like Melanie Campbell and Tasha Brown are saying, we played a role in that, and she needs to pay us back. She needs to be accountable to us. Mm-hmm. And then how sweet it is in New York that the new mayor is a 34-year-old Muslim American. He is Mamdani, and I never pronounced his first name correctly, but I guess I'll learn how to pronounce it as he takes over the realm. What's interesting about his race is whenever Republicans don't get their way, they start calling people communists and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He is a democratic socialist. There is no Democratic Socialist Party. There's a Democratic Socialist civic organization called Democratic Socialists of America. AOC, Democrat. Bernie Sanders, Democrat, belong to DSA. Cornel West is a member of DSA. I used to be a member of DSA. They meet too long for me. But in any case, Mamdani won. He beat Andrew Cuomo, who was very quick to start using that communist word. And he beat us, Curtis Sliwa, who was always an outlier. He was the Republican candidate, the head of the Guardian Angels. I don't know if they're still around anymore. But in any case, he had a resounding victory. And so people can call him all the socialists or communists they want to. He is the mayor of the largest city in the country. So
Yes,
we just have
indeed.
to shout him out, smile, do a
Mm-hmm.
victory lap with him. There are a lot of people who supported him, but then those who did not, are notable. Senator Chuck Schumer from New York never supported Mamdani. Hakeem Jeffries, uh, minority leader of the House of Representatives, came in very late. Um, and I guess he felt like he had no choice but to come in. Some of the Black women in Brooklyn were they were all for Mamdani. What is a democratic socialist anyway? It's somebody who believes in housing for all, food for all,
Mm-hmm.
healthcare for all. Now, those are aspirational, they're legislative things that have to be passed, but I don't understand the vitriol toward him. The New York Times did not endorse him. No newspaper, no major newspaper in New York endorsed him. And that's troubling. But he is the new mayor of New York City. Go, dude, go. As of today, Tuesday, US government shutdown has hit a record length. People are not getting their food assistance, SNAP. People are not, there are 1.5 million government workers who have not been paid.
Mm-hmm.
Either they've been furloughed or they simply have not been paid. People like air traffic controllers have to work whether they are paid or not, but many of them are calling in sick. And so, I have to fly next week and I'm not sure that I can fly. Everybody's very, you know, up in arms. Like, what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because don't know if a flight is going to go or not. I'm actually thinking about hiring a car service to take me where I'm going rather than to have to depend on the planes because we just don't know what's happening. People are talking about TSA lines being 3 hours long. They're talking about planes being canceled. You're there, they cancel. They don't rebook you. So this is where we are. Government has shut down, and no one understood what a government shutdown meant. But what it has meant is that we really have a problem. That president says he's not going to extend food stamps until the Democrats reopen the government. That's what he said. He is being very difficult, but he's always been very difficult. So this is
Even
not
against,
new.
even against the courts.
Yeah, the court told him to pay the food stamps. He said no.
Mm-hmm.
But now that's being interpreted. The unions are split. AFG, the American Federation of Government Employees, they're the largest U.S. federal workers union with over 800,000 members, asked Congress to please pass a clean continuing resolution to reopen the government and to resume paychecks. But that clean continuing resolution doesn't deal with the healthcare matter, which is also very urgent. Um, Other labor organizations like the AFL-CIO, the SEIU, Service Employees International Union, they don't agree with AFSCME. They believe that we need to make sure that healthcare is taken care of. People have probably now got, if they haven't gotten, will get in the next couple of days, how much their health insurance is going to go up if they were covered by the ACA. And the challenge is, if you don't know how much your health insurance is going to go up, not having the subsidies becomes a problem. But that's kind of where we are. And that's just kind of where we are. It
Mm-hmm.
is really challenging. Um, but The VP of SAIU, a local, said it's a false choice to say we need to give up affordable health care for millions and millions of Americans in order to bring federal workers back to work. AFG, of course, is worried about those federal workers. Everybody's worried. I mean, food assistance, food banks are talking about not having enough food to go around. There's a lot going on with so many things that depend on federal government. Meanwhile, of course, national parks have been closed. Other things are being closed. There's a fair amount of neglect. And this also, people need to understand, has an effect on the entire economy. The economy, 70% of our economy is based on consumer spending. If you don't have it, you can't spend it. Last time we had a shutdown, $11 billion in the economy were lost. How much will it be this time? This is really a challenge, not only for the federal workers, but for all workers. Think about the people who have restaurants in the federal places that they count on people to come there to eat lunch and do other things. That's not happening. But I'm not going to dwell on that. We know that this is happening. We hope that this will be settled soon. But the president shows no signs of yielding, and Democrats are holding their own. Why does Mr. Trump want to bother Nigeria? Nigeria is not bothering him. He saw something about Christians being killed in Nigeria. He hasn't gotten any background. The Nigerian government says that both Christians and Muslims have been killed in Nigeria, but he wants to talk about perhaps invading Nigeria, talking about changing foreign policy in Nigeria, talking about all kind of crazy madness about Nigeria. They're going to FAFO with Nigeria. Talking about invading Nigeria will not turn out right. And attacking a West African country may call for a realignment with West African relations, because it's not just Nigeria, it's Ghana, it's Senegal, it's all of those West African countries, ECOWAS, the Economic Community of West African States. They're not playing with Mr. Trump. They're truly not playing with Mr. Trump. And so it's just something else for him to do to detract from the economy. What he's not dealing with is the economy. And that's what people elected him for. And that's the thing that he's been ignoring.
1 minute.
Okay, Tish James is trying to block subpoenas from a Trump-era U.S. attorney. Letitia James is the attorney general in
New York.
And she's amazing. And they've, of course, indicted her for nothing, but she's holding her own again. And we're seeing these attacks coming all over the place from African-American women from this organization, from this administration, rather. So we have to keep looking at that and see what happens. But she's challenging. She's saying, oh, no. I'm not going to basically deal with these subpoenas. And she's very right to say that, because essentially it's an attack. It's a blatant attack. We will talk, it looks like California is going to win Prop 50. We don't have that information now, but it seems pretty good that it's going to win, and that will mean another redistricting. Oh, yeah,
that's why the long lines help us know that.
The
long lines helped us to see it too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking at California, and we're looking at some other races around the country. In Detroit, a Black woman has won the mayoralty. Sheffield is her name. Her dad was a big Democrat, and her grandfather. And so she now, Mary Sheffield is her name. She has now won in Detroit, and we're seeing victory. Democrats are doing very well. But the lesson, I'll close with this. Here's the lesson. It's not that Mondami or Spanberger, it's that Democratic Party is a big tent. We have liberals, we have centrists, we have progressives, and that big tent showed out on Tuesday night.
Amen. Thank you, Dr. Julian. That was good. That was a great wrap up. Now we go to our commercial break, and we'll be back in a moment.
If it wasn't for my care coach at AmeriHealth, I probably wouldn't be so healthy right now. As a man, we don't get checkups or see a doctor regularly anyways. It's probably just a man thing because none of my partners go either. We know we should, but we just don't, and hope it works out.
So what changed for you?
AmeriHealth assigned me a care coach, somebody that gives one-on-one help, answer questions, explain things, and help set my appointments. She also helped me understand what having high blood pressure really means and ways to manage it so it doesn't kill me. It ain't nothing to play with. If you're a member of AmeriHealth, ask for a care coach. I'm glad I got mine.
At AmeriHealth, if you need a care coach, you can have one. Just call us at 1-877-759-6224 to get connected. 1-877-759-6224. This program is funded in part by the government of the District of Columbia Department of Healthcare Finance. Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Washington and former religion columnist Lyndia Grant.
Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a segregated Montgomery bus. In lectures on brotherhood, Ms. Parks often said, "People always say that I didn't give up my seat because I was tired." But that wasn't true. I was not tired physically. I was not old. I was 42. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in. Driven out of Montgomery by harassment and death threats, Detroit, Michigan became her new home. Rosa Parks will always be remembered as the mother of the civil rights movement. Raised in the AME church, she once said, "I remember finding such comfort and peace while reading the Bible."
Read more in the religion column of the Washington Informer, an award-winning African-American newspaper. We don't report crime or gossip, just positive news. Pick up the Washington Informer or visit us online at washingtoninformer.com. Call 202-561-4100 for more information.
This is Frank Smith with the African American Civil War Museum in Washington, D.C., located at 1925 Vermont Avenue Northwest on the Green Line. Did you know that a recent study found that children who visit museums do better in school and in life than children who do not? So parents, teachers, and preachers, let's get moving. I promise you, if you bring your children to the African American Civil War Museum, they will be inspired by the images that they see. They will be impressed by our living history reenactors who are always available, and they will be involved in our scavenger hunt that takes them throughout our exhibit. That's the African American Civil War Museum, 1925 Vermont Avenue. Our hours are 10 to 6:30 on weekdays, 12 to 4 on Saturdays and Sundays. See it. Be inspired.
You're listening to the Lyndia Grant Show. This is our second half. We are back now the first Friday in November the 4th, 5th, 7th. And we are on today with former Councilman Frank Smith, the founder of the African American Civil War Museum and the monument across the street. And he had his opening scheduled for Veterans Day, but this is our Veterans Day show. He's going to give you all an update on the status of how things are going. Councilman Smith?
Good evening, Lyndia. I'm so happy to be on here with you. And you and I have been together on this thing for a long time. We've been on this journey for over 25 years. Yep. And hey, we were both young and good looking at that time. We're still good looking. We just ain't young no more. No. We're not young anymore, but we're still doing what we can with all we got for as long as we can, which is all the Lord asks of us.
Amen.
And so I'm happy to be on here with you again. I'm excited about Veterans Day, November the 11th, because we're bringing something out for the first time, really in the history of the country. We have 209,145 names of African American soldiers that served in the Civil War, enrolled on our monument here in D.C. And in 2023, I believe it was, the Guinness Book of World Records said we have more names than anybody else. And if we got more names than anybody else, we're going to read out loud more names than anybody ever read out loud. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned this on your show one time earlier. And I asked people to come out and help me do this. And so we're going to be doing, if you live in the Washington, D.C. area, come out to the African American Civil War Memorial on Monday, November the 11th. We're going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to read till 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we're going to join people in Rock Island, Illinois. He'll be reading. Some people out there reading at a cemetery. We got people reading at Jackson State College in Mississippi who are going to be reading. And we've got people in Louisiana, 2 or 3 groups in New Orleans, Louisiana are going to be reading it. But up here in front of the African American Civil War Memorial, we're going to be reading these names. And we've got a lot of people helping. I called for help. I said I didn't want to be like Senator Booker in the Senate reading for 26 hours without going to the bathroom. I can't do that. And I didn't want to try to do it by myself, but I've had over 200 people sign up to help us read these names. And so we're going to call these brothers' names out loud, and hopefully we'll do this every year from now on Veterans Day.
Good. That's an exciting project. Congratulations. Now tell us about what's going on with the grand opening.
Okay, so now we had planned also to do a ribbon cutting with the mayor and the people here in the District of Columbia on the 10th, Monday the 10th, to celebrate the reopening of our museum, which has been under construction now for 2 or 3 years. We spent over $10 million getting this thing ready, and we hit a little snag at the end here trying to get it open in time for November 10th. Although we had invited many, many people to join us, and I was just on the phone a few minutes ago, people from California who said they still coming. They're coming because they want to read the names. And so, but we won't be able to have the ribbon cutting for the new museum. Although we've got the exhibits in there and we've got most of the work done, we just can't get it open and get a permit so we can open it up to the public in time for this. So we're going to have to delay and reschedule the ribbon cutting for the new museum. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead with a great celebration where we read aloud these 200,000 names at the African American Civil War Memorial here in Washington, D.C., on the corner of Vermont Avenue and U Street, right by the Masonic Building. And all the events that we were going to do at the museum, including Monday the 10th, we're going to have a book festival so everybody can come out. About 8 or 10 authors coming with their books. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday, we're going to have a reception. The descendants are hosting a reception that the public is invited to come. It's free. So come and get your list of names so you can come back the next day and help us read. And then on Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, we have a veteran who's going to do a little speech for us. And then when he finished speaking and sung by a choir from Vermont Avenue Baptist Church, and actually 2 choirs, Vermont and Shallow Baptist. And when those are finished, we're going to start reading these names. We're going to read them out loud, y'all. We have 10 microphones set up out there, and we're just going to have a hallelujah good time until we get finished.
Good. Sounds great. All right. Well, that sounds like an exciting day for you.
Well, I'm excited about this.
Invite the audience to come out and celebrate with you for Veterans Day.
Yeah. It's exciting. You know, what we hope, Lyndia, is that these groups that are doing this now will do it every year. And as others will join us, once they see how well this goes, and it's what we're going to try to make this you ask yourself, well, what are you doing for Veterans Day? Well, we're going to recognize the veterans in our family and our community who are on active duty today. And there's a little bit of something going on, a little ants going on around this because there are some soldiers. There are actually 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of them every day at the African American Civil War Memorial, the National Guard, who are standing there now. And we've talked to them. They say they're willing to do anything we ask them to do, including getting out of sight, so they won't be bothered. We don't want them to be bothered because we're peaceful people. We're trying to have a peaceful presentation here. We know that, and they want that too. So they're gonna we're willing to do anything you want us to do. We're willing to clean up and get out of the way if you want us to do that. But the fact of the matter is that we have to learn to get along even under these trying circumstances that we find ourselves under. We can't lose our faith. We can't lose our hope. We can't lose our enthusiasm for trying to do the right thing. And we've had these trials and tribulations before. You and I are old enough to know that the sun doesn't always shine. Sometimes the day gets cloudy. But those who believe in justice and believe in God, we will keep on persevering. We'll let our little light shine until as long as we can, and for all the good we can stand for.
Amen. All right. Well, do you have any idea if you're going to do it the opening November, December, or January?
Well, I done got burnt twice on that thing, right, Lyndia?
Don't even want to say, do you?
I might wait till we get the last thing up in there and turn the lights on, let them burn for 2 or 3 weeks before I tell anybody.
Okay.
But it'll be soon. It'll be sometimes around the first of the year because we got so much in there now.
Yeah, you want it to be done nicely. Yes.
Yeah, we want to show people we done spent almost $10 million on this thing now. And we want people to see something that looks like it's a $10 million deal when it gets
There you
done.
go. There you go. I
So
appreciate hearing that.
yeah, we don't make no small plans, Lyndia.
Uh-huh.
The poet said, "Make no small plans, for they
That's
have no
right.
power to stir
That's
men's
right.
soul." And
There
so
you go.
we want to create something that's going to stir men's soul when they see it.
That's
And
right.
we're on our way.
All right. Well, that concludes what we want to say today. You can give us your closing remarks, and then we'll.
Well, I'm so happy that you and I have been able to walk this faithful highway for all these years as friends. Your family, my family, friends, been friends for a long time. Thank God for your good works here, not only with your radio program and with the other things that you do, your article that's in the paper all the time, and for your personal belief in God and your ability to help your family and other families too. I know all about you, so I don't want to get started here, but you've been a blessing to everybody, and you've been a blessing to the world. I'm really glad to have you as a friend. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Frank Smith. We appreciate you. And we invite everybody to come out on Monday and Tuesday. It's got a 2-part going on.
That's
Monday,
right.
they're going to do the names, and then they're going to have some celebrations for Veterans Day on Tuesday, November the 11th. Is
Well,
that what
that's
it
right.
is? One is on
Yep.
the 10th, Monday, and the 11th is Veterans Day.
That's
So
right.
we invite you all to come out to Vermont Avenue and U Street, where the African American Civil War Memorial is. And did you tell them if it's going to be any food out there?
Of course, we have to eat. Hey, a man's got to eat. Hard as we work, we know we got to have some food. So we'll have some vendor trucks out there where you can get food, and then we're going to serve at the reception. We'll be serving food at the reception at 4:00, and
Okay.
we'll have food all day on November 11th. People got to eat and drink, so we'll have water out there and food, so people can breathe for a little while, sit down, get their strength back, go back and read some more.
Will they be doing this at the Civil War Memorial since we're not going in the museum? Everything is
Yes, yes.
outdoors at the monument.
Everything is outdoors at the monument. We'll have 10 microphones set up out there. We got a company. We hired a company to make sure this all worked well.
Okay.
And it'll be streaming live as we do it too, so
All
people can
right.
watch us online.
All right. Well, thank you so much
Okay.
for being my guest today. And we invite everybody to come out for Veterans Day, Monday and Tuesday, to the African American Civil War Memorial. This is part 2. He already unveiled the Lincoln statue that's out there now. And
Absolutely.
Veterans Day, part 2. And then the last step will be part 3 when they do the ribbon cutting. So we thank you for being our guest today.
All right, Lyndia. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
All right. That concludes the Lyndia Grant Show for this week. Good day.
Thank you for listening to the Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with your host, Lyndia Grant.